Good afternoon. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing, but it's a thing we want you tuned into every Saturday afternoon. I'm Elson McGee, your host, and I'm here with my co-host and partner in crime, Tony, brother Mary. How you doing?
I'm good.
And we got a special guest today. You know, another preacher. You know, I know Tony gonna be telling us. Oh, wait a minute. You know, another preacher, but a brother that's got a story that I hope will break through to the whole community, because one of the things that I think that's stopping us from addressing the problem of mental illness in our community is a sense of shame.
Yes.
You know, it's a sense of shame, and you know, we got to start addressing this issue before it become a tragedy. You know, and it's becoming a tragedy every day for at least 17, maybe as much as 20 families, 22 families, where veterans are committing suicide, the ultimate act of self-destruction. And we don't know what to do with it in our community. We just don't know what to do with it. Well, we do know what to do with it, but we got to get past the shame factor and start telling the truth to ourselves more than anything, because what we are up against, we got to just keep looking at the plight of veterans as a crisis in this country, a crisis, not something that's just passing. Anytime you got 17 to 22 veterans committing suicide, that means you got 22 to 17 families in crisis, in total crisis, because it don't just wake up and happen. You know, it don't wake up and happen. I've decompensated several times. I hate to tell people that, you know, I decompensated. You know, coming home out of Vietnam 15 days after I was home, I was in Fulton County jail in a padded cell. The only reason they didn't kill me, I was still in uniform. And it was a sheriff deputy that recognized that I had some problems that he could talk to. And he spoke to me. I had my 30-30. You know, we wouldn't have an AR-15 back then. I had my 30-30 rifle that my granddaddy had given me. I tell the folks, don't come on my property, because this is my land, right? You know, totally decompensated. Totally stressed out. My family didn't have a clue. They were scared of me too. And had a right to be scared of me. I'm a combat veteran. I mean, I just left the killing fields. I didn't leave the kitchen. You know, I didn't leave the administrative building and come home. I left the killing field, where my brothers was being cut down like dogs. 58,000 of our peers was killed in a war that they withdrew from after 13 calendar years. Thank you, Brother Pastor. Thank you, Brother Pastor, for coming here today. Introduce yourself, Brother Evan.
I'm Pastor Alvin Johnson, United States Marine Corps veteran, hoorah, and I actually am a spokesperson for Vet 22. You had Tony Bars on the last show, or the show before last?
Show before last, yeah.
And I'm the spokesperson, a veteran who tried to commit suicide twice from PTSD, MST in 2021. And I'm going to be transparent while we're here spending this time together. I'm going to share some things in my story and everything. And I still get counseling, treatment, programs, medicine, and all of it right now, today.
Right now.
100% disabled. But I still have the nightmares and this, that, and the other. And I'll express what MST is, because a lot of people just don't know.
They don't even have a clue.
Not even a clue. I was.
No, they think that's just for females.
Yeah, exactly right. And MST is military sexual trauma, and no man wants to talk to another man or person when you've been sexually traumatized by another man, and vice versa for women and everything too. But we don't talk about when it's man on man in the military when you're 18, 19 years old, and predators are still in the military.
Predators are still in the community.
And the community too.
See, what a lot of people forget, Pastor, is that we're that small macro reflection of the community. We come from the community.
Yes.
But only 1%, less than 1% of the population ever served in the U.S. military.
That's right.
And that small population carry the burdens of freedom for all the rest of them. All the rest of them. And they don't have a clue. I'm glad. I'd like to hear thank you for your service, but they don't have a clue what this service is like.
Yes.
And Tony, you do a great job all the time with telling people how well they prepare us for coming into the military, for doing military service. But when it's time for discharge, they don't even look at what the impact of that service has done.
Or what scars are left on you. I looked at my discharge papers and I have my medical records. And all the things that I was all jacked up, high blood pressure, heart problems, this, that, no disability, none at all. And I was in a car accident 2 months prior to me getting out. So I got out early, 2 months early. I had neck problems, but they still discharged me. And I'm looking at everything, not knowing there's no help when you get out. There's no one say, hey, go file this, go do this. There's no help, so you're left to your own device.
Let me correct that. It is help. The VA get billions of taxpayers' dollars, so we're not gonna start saying there ain't no help. The help is not being delivered.
Or telling you, I thought the VA was for Vietnam vets, to be honest with you. I'm serious. Until my late 50s, I didn't know I was allowed to go to the VA. I didn't know I was to file a claim. I filed 4 years ago because I got real sick. I didn't know. I thought it was for, again, Vietnam vets and World War, so I didn't know as a young man that I was entitled or eligible for any of it.
That's the lack of information. The word tells us people perish for the lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge.
And what we need to be honest about it, that's all me and Tony do. We just go around just, trying to make sure people understand. But we've been doing something a little bit deeper than just making people understand what we're doing. We're showing them what can be done with their own governments. With their own governments. I mean, and because we're talking about the plight of veterans as a community issue. And that resources are already allocated to deal with these things, but because the pimps and the simps are getting it, it's never reached the place where it's supposed to be. That's just like if you sending soldiers out to fight a war and you don't resupply them, you killing them. You sacrifice them. And that's what America is doing to its military. Because right now, the transition of military personnel is really problematic because they got an all-volunteer force. And they have lowered the standards to make sure that they're meeting the quota of people that they need. And we got them selling secrets to the enemy. Not like no other period in the history of the U.S. military. We have young people going in the military and acting as spies for the other people.
At age 18, I joined the Marine Corps. 11th grade, I went in 12th grade to take care of my family. I always liked the military. I wasn't going in the Marine Corps, but then after I looked at it, I said it's the toughest and everything, and I had been through some things. Being molested from 9 through 14 by a family member. So I went to the Marine Corps, so I'm tough. I'm going to the toughest, and take care of my family, And when I went in, they had me as a field soldier, a grunt, but I tested high. I said, no, in the boot camp, I said, no, I'm getting some different orders, different career. I ain't doing transportation, which is fine, because we need it, but I ain't going as a grunt because my test scores are high, so they end up communication, base comm. I ended up with a NATO confidential top secret clearance. I was out in the desert for 2.5 years, and then my last year and a half, headquarters Marine Corps with a top secret NATO clearance. I saw some things. 18, 19, 20 years old. I read some things. Took stuff over to the Joint Chief of Staff, over to the Pentagon. I read some things that we would say, wow. From the United States, what's going on. So at that age, if someone, and my integrity and my belief in the United States and being a Marine, no. But someone could have easily came to me and said, I'll give you $100,000 if you you give me some of these messages, make copies of these messages. I had all the messages that come in. And so I understand how easy it is for these young folks coming in, getting these clearances, and then there was no one over top of me to check and see what I'm doing. Every 6 months or so, you get a background check to keep your clearance. But on a for real tip, if I made copies of those messages and so in foreign agencies, different with different things, I could have been a rich little man at that age.
Well, since you went there, I wasn't gonna do this, but we're gonna do it anyway because I was grunt, and in a sense, I was raised to be a grunt because I came out of the South. I came out of a family that lived in the countryside that taught me how to use a weapon before I was 12 years old. Right. Matter of fact, turning 13, I got my own a shotgun. So the idea that me going into war wasn't a frightful thing. It was sort of seemed like, well, I can survive this because I'm seeing what they're teaching me, and I'm learning stuff. But then actually getting into the killing fields. Why you get into the killing fields? You get information, and I'm gonna just say this: I got some top secret information on the VC having greenbacks. They ain't supposed to have no greenbacks, right? So they said the mission was too large for the special forces. So they sent the 173rd, which was a reactionary combat special unit. We call it the SWAT team of the military, because anywhere they're hot, that's where we go. We went to get the money, and I like that day. I'm rotating. I'm a pass founder, so I'm rotating. I'm on point. Get there. We had to take out a couple of enemies before we got to. And I got in the cage and saw pallets. I'm thinking some bags of money. I'm talking about whole pallets of money. I'm talking about 10s, 50s, $100 bills. Now, this is corrupting. This is corrupting. I'm 20 years old.
Mama Grace send you a package from the
20. So you're exposing these young people to stuff that you might have needed to make sure you're screening them properly. You need a better screening process. Like I say, you need a better screening process for police. Because some people go into policing just so they can and get away with it. That's but what we got to look at is that we have this Constitution, and whether we want to look at back, and I want all veterans to do this, we took an oath.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We took an oath. And we served that oath to the max. If we didn't, you'd got a bad discharge.
Yes.
You could twist you the wrong way in an attitude with some of the people that we've served, and you got a bad discharge. Otherwise, you followed that oath to the ends, and to the death in a lot of cases. You followed that oath. Yes. Why don't we command and demand that those people that we elect keep their oath of office?
Yeah.
So we see a lot of them unfit to serve.
Yeah, that's true.
Just totally unfit. Right now we got one that's running for president that we know, based on all the evidence that's been presented, if he's in the military, he'd be discharged for unfit to serve and wouldn't be allowed back in the military. They talking about aligning back in the White House. What happened to the rule of law? See, they talking about the rule of law gonna keep him in check, but he's been arrested 3 times already and ain't been mugged yet. But never been mug shot. So what we got to do as veterans and as veterans families and veterans supporters is that we got to demand the same kind of service from those that we elect, that we provided. That way we will have a functional government, right, that's going toward this more perfect union. Because right now we got the spirit of something going on in this country that got at least a third of the people going against the Constitution. Talking down the military. Saying the FBI ain't no good. Saying, you know,
the Justice Department, all that.
All this stuff. And we got to remember, our democracy is so thin, it depends on your commitment to it. That's all it said. If you break your commitment, now think about this. I've been to prison, right? I've been in some of the most dangerous prisons in this country. Because they said I was one of the most dangerous people in this country. So they had to but let me tell you something. I was in there with people that know they ain't gonna never get out. And listen, every prison I've been in, we outnumbered the guards. If one day all the prisoners wake up and decided that they no longer gonna cooperate with the rule of law, and nothing to stop them from staying out of prison. We got to look at what is being done to our country. And we need veterans, especially, and family members, we need to take charge of these elections in every way, because these people are playing with what we serve for. They're actually playing with what we serve for. If we allow them to go the way they're going now, well, they cut veteran benefits last year. And I brought a case because I want to talk about the plight of veterans. It's a case where I'm looking at the system change and how many different setups they got to go through before you can get your claim decided rightfully. And they putting the burden on the veteran rather than keeping it on the VA where it was supposed to be.
That's right.
So it is the system designed by Congress to deliver the benefits that we deserve, that we earn. Not just deserve, we earn these benefits. That was a contract. When you go into the military, if you incur an injury or disease because during the time of that military service, they're going to take care of you and your family. I done got millions of dollars in veteran benefits in my home community. I'm glad I can do that. But I think that they've been shortchanged still, because I'm up and down Cleveland, seeing homeless veterans, seeing veterans that either got PTSD or adjustment disorders where they can't even take care of themselves. We're talking about the plight of veterans today, and we're calling out veterans because see, we thinking about 2024, right? The vote. We need to vote in 2023 because these are local elections that they want us to keep. These are the people that causing the problem. Brian Kemp was the one that took all them people out of the voting register to vote so he could be governor.
What was it, 200-something thousand? I think it was.
Because some paper error. They looking to take our benefits away from us. And we cannot remain silent. Why they do it?
I just found out I'm 100% PTSD, MST. I just found out from my PTSD and everything that happened to me, if you look at my paperwork, my medical records, during the time when I was sexually assaulted, my blood pressure was up. I had chest pains. I was going to sick call. I was getting sick and I was depressed. So I had 5 RE heart bypass surgery. I got 8 heart stents. I got high blood pressure. And so my doctors wrote, because of this trauma caused these ailments. But they gave me what's it called, for blood pressure, but they wouldn't give me any type of payment or anything, but just said you have it. Yeah, it's from this. Heart disease. They won't give it. So I have to go back now, even though I'm 100%, I just found out I can still apply for those injuries caused by that trauma.
And they're proving it every day. I do it every day. I mean, the unfortunate part about it is that most of the cases I do like that are DIC. You know, those are surviving spousal benefits. Because most veterans with mental problems are dying from heart conditions. They're dying from heart conditions. And if you don't show where that heart, and I done got them service connected posthumously, because I got medical professionals to show the
Yep.
VA that this trauma, this mental problem caused a heart condition.
Yes.
And I'm gonna tell you what, I feel for these surviving dependents of soldiers that's dying, because these are their benefits, and I fight hard for these surviving spouses, because I think it would be a disrespect to the veteran if I didn't.
Right.
Exactly.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
You know, and we got to make sure that we're electing people like, now you're going to get me to the PAC Act. You're going to get me to Camp Lejeune. All that money that they put up for the Marines, get that, Tony.
Okay.
They ain't start paying yet.
Yeah, I got a Jeff. I won't say his last name. He got cancer he was stationed at Camp Lejeune.
Hello? Hello?
This is Karen and Loving.
This is who?
Miss
Karen and
McAllister.
Loving
Okay, how can I help you?
calling in on the vet talk show.
Oh, okay. Well,
This is Andrew McAllister.
yes. Hey, Cassandra, how you doing, baby? Thank you for calling in, and I know you calling in today because we talking about you. We hitting on this on the suicide thing, and I need to talk with you anyway off the cuff, because I did get that report back that we talked about from our police officer. But anyway, we're here today with Pastor Alvin, who you know.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
it's good that you're calling in to let people know that this is an issue that we, as veterans and veteran families and community, have to get behind. We cannot keep putting this off, and we need to make sure that those that we are voting for on the local levels this year, not 2024, 2023, know that we are tired of seeing the resources that's allocated for the issues that we're talking about going to the pimps.
Yep.
Period.
Well, let me share, because I want to make everybody. I want to be clear with everyone. When I in 2021, June, July, that was my first time trying to commit suicide. I went to Walmart, got me a bunch of sleeping pills, and I'm getting started. I didn't care. By that time, I'm in the room, in my bedroom for weeks, not taking a shower. I didn't know what was going on with me. All I know is I didn't want to be here. So I'm popping the pills. I'm getting started. Take the first two. My wife walks in and catches me. What are you doing? Da 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 da. That's when I really started getting help from the VA, which was virtual, because COVID was around at the time. Virtual phone calls and all that. I had a good counselor, but the counselor left. Again, transferred to another psychologist. Da da da. November, I'm done now. I'm done. I'm gone to heaven, or wherever I'm going at that time. And so I started taking all my insulin and all the other medicine and stuff. And Cassandra knows. Butt naked sitting on the bed, because one of my suicide prevention things was to take a cold shower to distract and stuff. And so I'm started by grace of God. Insulin. I was low on that pen. Got the other pen, the long acting, taking. So I took that. Then I'm started on the medicines, and my wife walks in again. And all I remember was the psychologist and psychiatrist had already been diagnosed, but not diagnosed with PTSD. They had put something disorder, which is the same, but it's not severity. So they called Bay Pines, Florida Hospital, talked to Mr. Diggs, Patrick Diggs, I love you to death. They only had 10 beds open because it was COVID. Usually they take 25, 30. I'll make this short. They're only taking 10 people, and I got 40 people ahead of me, from my understanding. When I talked to him, I said, well, you don't have to give me a bed, but I know by next week I won't be here. I knew that I couldn't survive. I knew, you said triggers. I had fought. I had 3 stepsons. I had confrontations and different things. My wife, everybody. Went to Walmart, sat in the Walmart parking lot, couldn't get out, couldn't go in elevators because the room I got attacked in was, remind me, I was done. And there was no help. Now, I'm going to correlate this. Being a pastor, helping other people, marriage counseling, all kind of youth counseling, homeless counseling. And everybody, even the church was like, nah, we won't let him preach because he got some problems, Nobody from my church, except one or two individuals, when I was in that 3-month hospital, called me. So you get isolated, double, your name gets in the mud. Family don't understand. Other veterans going through their things. And at the time, the shame, you started off with the shame of it. How can I call Pastor McGee and I'm a pastor and the shame of it. No. When I got out of there, I learned to love myself. And when I went there, I thought I was going to get healed. I didn't get healed. I learned how to manage it. Okay. It never goes away. The nightmares and all that never goes away. Even the thoughts of suicide, at some days for me, I'm driving down the road, go ahead and hit that tree. Why? So I learned how to manage it. But the thing is, like you're all saying, I'm so glad we brought this up. Vet 22, Tony Bars. I met up with him, and I'm a spokesperson for that. And we're having a big run. Stan Cottrell, Dr. Stan is going to run for Vet 22, September 22nd. But we got to get also the help, the right now help. There's a difference. The VA will give you an appointment and say, okay, what's this, August 19th? But they'll give you an appointment for November 24th to see a counselor. So from August to November, you're stuck with your own devices.
Well, let me get in for a minute because we need to.
Can I tell you something too as well? I'm so sorry. I'm in Mount Vernon, Georgia now, and I have a Sergeant Adams with me, and this young lady as well, PTSD, and attempt to commit suicide in 2015. And I have her here with me just to know that it is other people listening.
Yes.
Family members, civilians, and just for her to say hello, and then we can carry on to speak. Hello, how y'all doing?
Good.
Blessed to hear your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Let me
thank you guys.
Let me encourage all of those of us that have learned to manage these symptoms and triggers.
Yes.
Communicate with your family. We got to be able to do this. Even though we that's probably our biggest source of wanting to conceal the problem. But they're the ones that's hurt by the problem most.
Yep.
So we need to be able to start communicating with them so when they see us decompensated, they watch us, they know us, they see it coming, and they need to be able to intervene with help because the help is there, the resources is there. But if we're not able to get to the resources, and I know I ain't never been able to get to the resources when I was decompensated. It was a loved one, somebody that knew me well enough and cared enough to call somebody to get me the help that I need. We got to be able to start doing that. As those of us that are suffering with mental illness, we got to be able to make it a table conversation. We see athletes and movie stars that are going to start talking about their mental issues. I don't think anybody in the country got more mental issues than veterans.
That's right.
And these issues that we have are traumatizing our families.
Yep.
So let's get back to the veterans talk.
And community.
And community.
Yeah.
Go on, Tony. You got to talk about that part a little bit.
Yeah. And community.
And community. Because, see, one of the things that Tony pointed out to me when we were talking, we do some stuff now. Let me say this before I get to Tony. We got to not only be able to start managing our symptoms well enough to talk to our families, we got to be able to tell people what we need and stop just telling them about the problem.
Right.
Everybody know the problem now, and a lot of times telling them about the problem is scam. Tell them what we need.
Yeah.
We need for our families to be empowered to help us, because it doesn't start with the VA. It starts when we come back into the family that we left, going into the military. So that family need to be empowered to help us before we get to the point of suicide attempts. Because, listen, my sister still called me because I'm going through stuff, and she tell me, you need to call the VA. You know I need to call the VA, but sometimes I don't want to call the VA because they the problem.
Yeah.
But they the solution. The solution lies there, because that's where the resources have been placed to help us. And we got to stop saying ain't no help available. The help is available, we just don't know how to get to it. And I'm telling you today, we got to start talking to our families and loved ones who are affected by our condition almost as much as we are. I wonder what your wife felt when she walked in the room.
My wife screamed at me. "You killing?" She said, "You're killing me." That's what shocked me a little bit, because I didn't care at that time. She said, "You're killing me." She started crying, and stuff, and got me help. But she was done. She didn't know what to do.
Well, see, let me say this. Until they are equipped, it's just like when you went into the military. You were trained to do what you need to do. They can train our families to help us and eliminate this problem. I don't know why we sitting up and acting like we don't know no better. That's what pissed me with veterans. We'll come talk to each other about it, but then when it come talking to a politician, let me say this, Tony, thank you, brother. So, Tony, this is my partner in crime. We have shown you, whether you want to look at it or not, how you can get the government to do stuff for veterans, for our issues. We got Fulton County, then they getting ready to do another $1 million. They done put out $2 million, and half of the veterans we getting out there for don't even recognize it. I'm so with y'all, with us, that sometimes I say I'm going to hold and coming out. I'm gonna just go in this hole and I ain't gonna come out. Now that would be my PTSD. So I'm not gonna let my PTSD drive me in the hole.
In the hole, yes.
But we got to make sure. Listen, Fulton County put up $1 million for the last 2 years to address these very problems. Frontline, for the first time, Frontline Community Service got money to help with this problem of suicide. And I'm I got enough faith and confidence in Tony is that he's gonna do what he needs to do with these funds to make sure that we have an impact in the community. We need more community operatives working together that's already working in the community.
I got a question for y'all. Okay, right now, and Caring and Loving is part of it. Okay, Hearts to Nourish Hope opened the door for me to start a veterans and veterans family program. So I got a VSO there now, claims person there now. We got food, we got clothing. I got a mental health place. Emory just came and did a tour. They have a 2-week inpatient free program post 9/11, and for the non-post they got you can go to Chicago. They pay for everything, and then we got some other career things. The thing is now, and Commissioner DeMont Davis, he's on board with our veterans program over there in Clayton County. Now, another aspect of it is corralling the veterans to come and take advantage of what's there too. That's an issue because we're so segregated all over here that don't want to come. I mean, we got food, we got clothing, we got even a housing assistant program. Atlanta Hope dropped some flyers off for housing for homeless veterans. Atlanta Hope. So we're sitting there, the doors are open, but we're not grabbing the veterans who are crying out, but they're not coming where the doors are open.
That's the mistake that all of us are making, and I keep saying this. Our program is a call to unity. We calling people to unity. We try to have people on this show every week to talk about the issues in our community and for us to start working together. The working together means that we're talking about going into, see, one thing, we're trying to concentrate what we do in one little space.
Right.
We can't do it.
Nope.
We got community centers and libraries all over this, all over the community. Why are we using those to get to the families and the veterans? Get to the families. The veteran ain't able to reach out.
Especially you're in crisis. When you're in crisis, I don't know how much we got beat this drum.
We got people going over here in this little corner. They're going to get all these resources, but they ain't got nobody coming there to get the resources. Why? Because they centralizing the resources. They putting them all in a little corner so that they can say, well, I'm doing this. Well, do it to the community. Put it in the community centers. Right now, that's what we're trying to do. Open up these community centers where you can come in the community center. Every organization that's doing something can go into community centers throughout the communities where these families are. And talking to these families. You're going to talk to the family and the community that's able to help. And they'll help if you show them how to do it.
We meet with the library next week, Miss Belinda. And then the community centers, we just did something at Spivey Recreation Center, the Clayton County. There's a flip side of it too, because I go to the ministerial meetings of Forest Park, and then we have another meeting the second Wednesday of every month with Clayton County businesses and everything. But there's another part too, and I'm going to be honest. You said it. We get services, or we get certain funding. But a lot of times that funding is not used where it's supposed to be used either. I'm sorry, but the truth be told, and not just for veterans stuff, just in general, that has to stop. You guys are doing this, and we need more help in this. These people over here doing this, getting a lot of funding, but not using it appropriately, or not using it for the cause and what it's supposed
that's
to be.
our call. We just keep saying the same thing, but not changing the behavior. We got to change the behavior.
Churches. I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off. I have to do this. We got a lot of veterans sitting up in church. In my church, we have about 10, maybe 12. We have to open up. We have to open up the doors the church has to open up the doors to the veterans too. My job right now is to go and say, hey, we got help for every veteran, family member, veterans and kids, wives, husbands. The churches have to become more active in this too, in the communities.
Again, I'm going right back to the source of the problem: veterans. I'm calling you out. I hear all these great ideas, but I see people in these little corners. This is what I'm doing. No, you got to break it open. All of us got to do it at the same time, helping, making sure that these resources are in the community, in places where some people ain't gonna come. You got to go to that community. And if you start doing it in the community centers, it's gonna spread out in those neighborhoods. But we do it in one community center because this is our community center. We got to be able to network with each group that's committed to doing these things. Every time Tony got something, we there. Every time they got something in Clarkston, we there. But when we tell them to come over here, they act like they afraid to come to Atlanta. A lot of the big bad boogeyman, but y'all know y'all come here for the parties. Y'all come here for the I ain't gonna go with all that. But this is veterans talk.
There is a homeless population of veterans and veterans' families. I'm talking about homeless living in the woods. We've Eugene Way, which I'm part of and I'm on the board. We feed in Clayton County. We feed Monday through Friday. We have a truck, and we take food and sleeping bags and stuff. But there is a homeless population too that sticks together. We have some veterans protecting the homeless. Like there's about 15 families. You got 2 veterans protecting them. They won't go to the VA. They won't, because they feel if they leave, the girls are going to get raped. But there's a homeless population that's really bad out here too that we're missing. I'm talking about homeless. I'm not talking about living in a house. I'm talking about in the woods, underneath a bridge, and their families. So I think that evangelistic tool needs to be used too, to go that street ministry, I'll put it like that, for veterans. And 2 veterans we have got cancer. They go and get the shots in the stomach we just got one that goes into a hotel after almost a year. He said he don't want to deal with nobody. He don't want to deal with the VA. Go get this chemo, whatever, and then go right in the woods. Got a generator, tent, and everything. And so it took another veteran to go talk to him to get into the department that we had for him. We have specialty things for the homeless. Hearts to Nurse Hope has veterans as a priority, homeless veterans as a priority with housing, food. We have Mercy Care. We have a lot of things.
You see, well, let me tell y'all something. Until you start getting the resources necessary to deal with the problems to the problem, you're going to still have the problem.
You're going to still have the problem.
And that's what's going on in the whole veteran community. Everybody got this little thing going on, got this little thing going over here, and they ain't got nobody showing up. You ain't showing up because they can't show up. You got to move it to them.
Yes.
You got to move it to them. And you got to let the government get the resources necessary to move it to them. You can't be pinching on it. They got enough buildings right now in every city,
every county
in this country that's vacant with the lights on, the water running, vacant. And you ain't even asking the government or demanding the government, let's use these buildings to get these people off the street. We need to come together. Stop acting like we don't know what we can do. We can do it. We just got the city of Atlanta to fund a Vietnam War memorial 60-something years after the war. I mean, come on, folks. We can get more out of our governments if we try to. We got to stop acting like, well, I got to go out over here and do it. I got to get, what you're doing, you're empowering the pimps. Because as long as you're running over here and you help 2 or 3 veterans today, 2 or 3 tomorrow, and then there's 2 or 3 that you help today, they ain't got no resources for the next day. We got enough resources to get everybody off the street. We got enough food to feed everybody, because I know for an absolute fact, every hotel, fast food place in the city throwing away food. I don't understand what we doing as veterans. We act like we don't know how to corral this problem. We act like it's beyond our grasp. It's just been me, Tony, and Bernard. We wove Fulton County down. It's me, Tony, and Bernard. We rolled Atlanta City down. Them folks see us coming, either they smiling at us or they trying to duck away from us. But they know we coming. That's what we got to start doing all over the veteran community. We are going over here and grabbing these little folks with these resources, and we think we done did a lot because we got a lot there to give out and don't nobody show up. Ain't nobody showing up. So we're wasting our time. We're spinning our wheels. We need community, unity. We need unity in our community. And veterans need to show people how to unify. We know how to work together.
We train.
really know how to work together. So that's what the military required of us.
We trained that.
You know, I mean, I've been in places and saw the Air Force coming. Well, I was looking for them. Charlie was hot on me, right? Listen, I looked up and saw the Marines coming. I knew I had some help, right? We know what to do. I can't understand why we sit back and we sit back and we don't act like no soldiers. But I'm gonna tell you this.
You said united, though. You started with us uniting. So I think we have to have a leadership like yourself, you know, both you guys and others, where we're united. And then you have to, like, right now, Clayton County is prime harvest. Prime.
Well, we're gonna challenge y'all. Follow what we're doing in Fulton County. Fulton County putting up $1 million last year. Done put up $1 million this year. Gonna put up another $1 million. What we trying to do is now sift out the pimps. We gonna expose the pimps. That way we got to dispose them. Just put them on Front Street. Let people see how nasty that looks. When you got people suffering and you got people just only thing they thinking about is how to make a dollar. You know, I'm not against business. I'm not against business. But when you got business in your community that's getting your money every day and they ain't never doing nothing for the community, you need to stop going in that store. You need to stop. Listen, you got a government that's not listening to you. That means that person that you got elected don't need to be elected, re-elected. But we keep going right back and back and back with these people. And the only thing they do is scandalize each other. They can't even get in there and do what they was elected to do.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out in my mind, can I sue some of these suckers that's using my government resources for nothing?
Yeah.
There should be some kind of way. Yeah, wait a minute, buddy. You know you ain't got no business doing that. And get them back on the right track, and we can if we work this democracy. Our vote is the best tool that we got.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. More people will vote for veterans than any other demographic in this country, and we don't even act like we know it.
What's the Republican kids? They kicked him out, or he lost his. He didn't run the last term. Kissinger or something like that. He's a war veteran. He was Kissinger. I forgot his name. Young guy, and now he understands like what we're talking about now, but he's no longer a. I don't know if he was a senator or whatever it was. And the thing is, like you said, we need to put people in office that understands the plight.
Listen, if they take that oath, every one of them take an oath.
Yeah.
We got people that take the oath up there trying to tear the government up.
Yeah.
Right now, the media is pushing the government to where it wanted to go.
Yep.
Because they interview these people, get them on the news, and they get their little piece in there, and they forget that they're working for the people.
Yeah.
They get up there and start talking about, well, what happened if Trump don't do this? Trump need to be arrested. He committed a crime.
Yes.
All that 2 and 4 about him, it's going to run into the election. Listen, he shouldn't even have a right to run for president right now under the Constitution.
Yeah.
That's under the Constitution.
Yeah.
He has aided and abetted insurrections. He has aided and abetted insurrections. That is the 4th Amendment to the Constitution. We need to stop acting like we don't know no better when these people are running this stuff in our face and telling us, well, we don't know what you need to do. You need to come out of office. You need to come out and we're going to put you out.
Before he was in office, even before then when he was running initially, all the sexual, all the racial, all the unethical things as a person, a man, he had already had committed.
That's who he is.
And then, but the thing that killed me, and I'm sorry, I'm not beating down the church or anything. Some of our, especially African American churches, went to him like he was the savior, and that hurt me because now you cross into politics and religion, and you, well, he did this and that. And I'm just going to be honest, from my point of view, some of the things, he did some good things. His cabinet did some good things. But a lot of the things he wrote the pity back. He wrote the pity back, the back of Obama's system that it was already in place that took the year or two when he was in office to start working. And not saying Obama was great either, but all I'm saying is the ethical, manly, respectful, family values were not in place from the beginning.
Well, we knew that's who he was, and he was not playing to us.
No,
he was playing to those rejects that still want to fight the Civil War.
And you're right, yeah.
I mean, we just got to face the fact that he tapped into a hatred that has been kind of the undercurrent of politics ever since the 60s.
And it exploded.
Before then.
It just came out worse because of Martin Luther King Jr. and that crew demanding change, and getting the right to vote. I can say this, and I do say this, and no other demographic in this country, in this world, have come so far in such a short period of time as we have.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we need to understand that that's the threat that these people are looking at. They don't want the slave children to get out of slavery. If you think I'm BSing you, look at the penal system.
Yeah.
Read the 13th Amendment. Understand what they're doing, and I can tell you that they are paying them slave wages in the penitentiary system all over this country. And until we start looking at what is going on with these businessmen, listen, I have witnessed one thing that with 45 did that made me question him when he first went in office. Why are you bringing all these billionaires to government service? They came to privatize government operations.
Yep.
And that's what we're up against as a VA right now.
Yep.
Right now, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at all these exams that we had to go through and don't get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we look at the combined rating system. That's a cheat stick.
Yeah. I finally got a chance to look at all that, how that works.
See, that
is crazy.
That's a cheat stick. They should outlaw that as a scam.
Yep.
Because
Exactly.
it's scamming us out of our benefits.
Yep.
It's scamming us out of the resources that the country promised to give us. Because we got some politicians that probably didn't even go to the military. They have bad feet.
What about, what's his name? The used to be the football coach. Now he's Alabama's.
I don't know his name, Granby or something.
Well, he's stopping the promotion of the military.
Yeah, why would he do that? Because he's trying to push some
Tuberville.
Yeah,
Tuberville, yeah.
Trying to push some agenda on the country that they don't want.
You're right. But he's holding us hostage.
Well, he's holding
us military.
He's holding the morale of military hostage, and they intentionally doing this.
Yes.
Anytime they got a leader that cut John McClain down.
Yeah.
When he said that and said he know more than the general. I was a PFC, and then I got special forces class. I watched these generals. It takes a lot.
Yes.
It takes a lot.
It takes a lot. Yeah.
It takes a lot. And so for him to insult these people that way, I realized then we dealing with a whole different strand of individuals. They're not trying to build this democracy. They're trying to take it over. So it'll do what they want. They recognize this one thing. It is the richest country on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And what they're doing, they look at this progress that this demographic has done since the 60s. We've created more billionaires and millionaires than you can throw a stick at right now. And they saying this cutting into
their money.
Yeah. Look at
veterans talking to veterans now. That's all we're doing.
Miss Cassandra, Miss McAllister with Love and Care. She's a Gold Star mom, and her son passed away.
Yeah.
Veteran. And she can't get hardly no help, no service. Well, when I asked the American Legion,
don't worry about that. We got her.
Yeah, I'm just saying though. In general, the respect that Trump even disrespected the Gold Star families.
But I'm trying to. He disrespected the military. So,
period. But what I'm saying is though, even with her, looking at what she's going through, like I asked the American Legion because I'm just newly, the chaplain and everything. Are Gold Star mothers or fathers or whatever, Gold Star family members, are they entitled to join the American Legion? Because if your parents was in the Army or Navy, whatever, you retired, and we have a new commander, he's going to check on it. He said he wasn't sure. They should be good. They should be able to.
Let me say this. Any organization can have a auxiliary.
I think that's what they have.
I mean, that's in individual groups. All 501c19.
Yes.
And that's what we are, 501c19, Veteran Service Organization. We had one, was the ABVA, Associates of Vietnam Veteran America. They got so big that the IRS said, listen, we're going to take away your nonprofit status unless you get back in line, because you got to have more veterans than you got civilians. That's the only thing. And these high up in the organization panic, and they just cut the ABVA off. And, because they allowing politicians to dictate to us rather than us dictate. I'm just so tired of veterans with their mess. We bring too much mess to the table. When we know better. If they don't perform the way you perform, or the way I perform, or the way you perform, when you was in government service, they don't need to be there.
Yeah, and still performing, to be honest, because what I learned from the military, I live it.
Yeah.
When I learned from being a Marine, I live it.
Yeah. So what we got to do, we getting to the end of the show, Tony. You ain't said nothing.
I'm sorry.
You all have dominated the conversation, and so it's fine. you don't always need the comment of everybody concerned.
Yes,
because you all are making major points that need to be said.
Yes, thank you. But Tony, I need to make some announcements on that.
Okay.
Now, this is something that's taking place in East Point, and it's about one of the East Point city councilmen that got a program for veterans right now. This is the CBD movement, and all of us know it is a health and wellness kind of issue with PTSD. But we need to be there, and veterans with PTSD need to be there because it's free to them, to us. But at the same time, we need to see what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We need to know what they're doing. We got a lot of people jumping out in front of us, prophetizing on our conditions. And we got to be careful, but anytime there's something going on in the community for veterans, veterans need to show up. You know, because some of it is good, and we need to network with those
Exactly.
people. And then some of that stuff we need to say, wait, hold, wait a minute.
That don't look right.
That don't look right.
That smells like, that's not chocolate.
So we got to keep doing what we're doing, brother. I mean, I'm so glad you took time to come be with us today, brother. And
Yes.
I mean, I really, because you know I'm a partner with Tony, and
Yes.
been a partner
Me
with
too.
Tony, and gonna stay with him. Gonna stay with him, and partner with the Church of the Redeemed.
Yep.
And we're gonna stay with him, and you know,
Same here.
and that just showed me that we're steady building unity.
Yes.
Yeah.
And once we get this unity built the way it should be built, we're gonna have major changes. But you know what? I'm gonna tell you something, man. I hate to say this now, but God got something in store for this country.
He does.
The storms are coming.
Yes.
The fires are rolling.
Yes.
And ain't nobody on earth to blame but us.
Yes. He said, watch and be ready. That's what he said. Watch and be ready. If you don't mind, real quick.
Go ahead.
September 16th, veteran women and women, we have a wellness for women, veteran women. What's it called? Breast exam, I forgot the word. Mammograms, flexology, we got all kinds of, for veteran women and young ladies. And then Tony's September 22nd. All of it's going to be at Hearts to Nourish Hope in Riverdale. Please come out, women, veteran, especially veteran women. We're not ignoring you. It's not just about a man thing. Please come out.
Okay. Tony, you got anything else we need?
You all have sold the show. But the point you're making about women veterans, unfortunately, they are underrepresented by organizations. You know, all veterans organizations.
And I'm gonna say this here too. That's a call to women veterans.
There you go.
I mean, I'm calling out veterans. You know, you learn how to serve. You need to bust some of these organizations up that's not acting like you're a veteran.
Yes.
You know, if they're not willing to stand with you, something wrong with them. And you need to expose them. Pull the sheet out from over their head. See, because one of the things that I know, we ain't got, all of us got limited time on this earth. And we got to have something that said that life meant something. And we need to make sure that, and I promised my grandson, I need to just salute him and all the other young men and women in the U.S. military serving today. You know, just keep on doing what you're doing.
Yes.
Because, we got your back.
We got you.
We got your back, man. We're going to make sure that you got a better VA than we had.
Yes.
Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, share us, and all about it. Back here next week, doing the same thing we're doing this week. Trying to make sense out of a senseless situation called the plight of veterans in the USA, and the USA with the plight of veterans. We're going to be bringing it to you every time we get a chance to. So be blessed, be strong, and hang in there with your benefits. The benefits coming. And the process is being complicated, but you know what? We can still overcome.
Amen.
We can still overcome it. So don't lose faith. Keep on fighting.
Yes.
And then Morgan Freeman is doing a movie about the 1st Tank Battalion. 1st Black Tank Battalion. I want y'all to kind of watch that out. I'm interested in it because it's a part of our history.
Yes.
You know, we still need to be pushing our history. Like the Moffat Marines and you know all these brothers that served in a time when it was actually a segregated.
Yes.
Yes.
Now segregated. Now we're integrated. We are better together, and we got to let them know that. And these young people serving today, they are a prime example of how good we can look as a multicultural, multiracial society.
That's right.
And we ain't going back.
That's right.
We're not gonna give up our rights. We're not gonna go back to no second-class citizens. We're gonna enjoy the fruits of this country.
That's right.
Just like everybody else. It's enough for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We just got to get them greedies out the way. Got to get them greedies out the way. So we gonna ask you to again like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. You know, call in. We want to thank Cassandra and what she's doing, and Frontline Ministry, and all the people that's working on this issue that's crazy, suicides. It's an issue that we can deal with.
You can live. You can live with the PTSD, MST, depression. Mm-hmm. I'm a living testimony, and you can manage it. All you have to do is go after it.
Yes. And we want to talk about the other benefits because we want to make sure you're getting these benefits. Now, I'm concerned with the home loan benefit out there, and we got homeless veterans. We want to talk about that. That's a hypocrisy in the American psyche that we need to deal with. You know, we talk about all these empty properties that these governments own.
Yep.
These are our properties. So we need to get these sisters and brothers off the street, not just veterans, everybody.
But you know, real quickly, after I got out of the VA hospital, I came back from Florida to here. I lived in my car for almost 2 months after I got out of the hospital, and they was trying to say, they said, "Well, we'll call you back. We'll get you housing, temporary, da da da." No one ever followed up, da da da. So I gave up. Don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
Because you got the USO, the American Legion, what am I talking about? Not the American Legion, but the USO, and it's another organization that's always at the Red Cross.
Red Cross.
They will always get you some help. They will always get you some help, but you can't walk away from them. You got to stick to them, and you got to push them.
Yep.
Because sometimes now these organizations set up for the old crew.
Yeah.
So they'll overlook you if you let them.
Yeah.
But if you confront them, you got them.
Okay.
Simplify. Always faithful.
Yeah. Until next week.